Hi everyone, so Infinix recently created a lot of buzz with this phone, the Infinix GT 10 Pro. I honestly have not tested a lot of Infinix phones before, so I was quite excited when I came to know the specs of this device and its official price at just 20,000 rupees. So my team and I have been testing it for about a week now, and in this video I will tell you if the Infinix GT 10 Pro is worth the hype. So let's start. Okay, first off, let's talk about the design. After nothing success with a transparent design, this is the first time we have seen such similar design from a different brand. If you ask me, I think it's quite refreshing, a little inspired, yes, but I don't have a problem with it. It's actually nice to see a phone with such a character in a sea of mostly bland designs. I also asked my friends and colleagues if they liked the GT 10 Pro's design, and their opinions were quite polarizing, to be honest. The ones who liked it really liked it, and the others absolutely hated it. There wasn't much in between. The back as well as the frames here are made of plastic, by the way, but it does not feel that cheap and actually feels quite comfortable to hold, so I will not complain much. Infinix has been generous enough to include an IP53 rating here too. Anyway, I have the Cyber black color variant here, but you can also get the Mirage silver color option, both of which are inspired by the cyberpunk sci-fi aesthetics. To add a bit of extra flair, Infinix has also added these LED lights which glow during charging and notifications. Or you can also turn this option on to sync the lights to your music and have your own little music visualizer too. In my test, it felt more like a gimmick, but since it's a budget phone, I will not complain much. Okay, over on to the front, the 6.67 inches OLED screen here is quite nice with good contrast and viewing angles. I did not find the color reproduction to be the most accurate though. You do get the option to change the color temperature and such from the settings, but even after adjusting, I did not find the tuning to be that impressive. In comparison, the Poco X5 Pro, which also has a 10-bit display as the GT 10 Pro, produces better looking colors. But then again, this is not a bad screen to look at least for general usage, gaming, and even some content consumption. You also get Wideband L1 certification here, so you can watch content in full HD resolution in streaming platforms like Netflix or Prime Video. However, there is no HDR support there yet. In terms of brightness too, this is not the brightest of screens, as I could only get around 700 nits at peak with the auto brightness mode turned on. This means during sunny outdoor situation, you might face some difficulty in visibility. The good thing here is that Infinix has included 1920Hz PWM dimming here, so there's less probability of headaches and such while using the phone in low brightness mode. Also, you get an in-display fingerprint scanner here, which works reliably. However, I would have preferred if it was placed a little higher than it is. Other than that, the stereo speakers here are loud and have decent clarity, so watching content or playing games is going to feel quite immersive here. Plus, you also get a headphone jack, which is a bonus for gamers and wired earphones lovers like me. Now, talking about performance, I am happy to tell you it does not disappoint. The Dimensity 8050 chipset in here is one of the best performers you can get in this price range. It is better than something like the Snapdragon 778G and even beats more expensive phones like the Realme 11 Pro or the Lava Agni 2 in raw numbers. And that benchmark score translates nicely to real-world usage as well. Hence, throughout my testing period, I did not notice any lag or stutter on casual kind of usage. The UI feels snappy and fluid, and Infinix has optimized the 120Hz refresh rate here well too. I also appreciate how Infinix has provided an almost bloatware-free experience in here. I mean, apart from a couple of XOS family apps, you won't find much third-party bloatware here at all. Now, I will admit that the clean stock Android experience here is a little boring, but you always have the option to install icon packs and make it look the way you like. The only thing that has bugged me regarding its software is the promised number of updates. The phone boots on Android 13, and the Max OS update the brand has promised here is still Android 14 and an extra year of security updates and nothing more. Anyway, gaming on this device is a great experience. I found the phone cruising through games like PUBG and Asphalt 9 with no trouble at all. For starters, PUBG runs decently at around 85 FPS with just a few stutters here and there. Capping the frame rate to 60 FPS, however, gave me silky smooth gameplay without any kind of thermal throttling. Call of Duty is still not optimized to run at 90 FPS, but it gave me 100% stability at very high graphics and max FPS settings. And not just Call of Duty, I tried playing other higher FPS ready titles like Mech Arena 2, but sadly they were stuck at 60 FPS as well. Now, I did test Genshin Impact 2, which started out just fine but became choppier over time. At medium graphic settings and 60 FPS limit, you can expect to get around 40 to 44 FPS, but if you're more of a fan of stability, I would suggest capping the frame rate to 30. This way, you can enjoy the game with far less stuttering. And you might also be wondering if the phone gets hot while gaming, but surprisingly, PUBG, Call of Duty and Asphalt 9 did not make the device heat up so much. It was only when playing Genshin Impact that the phone showed a little sign of distress, reaching about 42 degrees after half an hour into the game. Infinix also provides a few other gaming perks here, like you can remap the volume buttons as in-game triggers, you can switch performance modes, limit power for better cooling, and block notifications and such. But the one thing that caught my attention is something called bypass charging. So what happens is smartphones generate a lot of heat while they're charging, which could be uncomfortable, especially when you want to play games while charging. But bypass charging allows you to directly power your motherboard, bypassing the battery so your phone does not heat up. It means you can game for longer hours without worrying about the battery heating or running out of charge. It also has the added benefit of reducing wear and tear on the lithium cells, which is good for your battery health in the long run as well. Now, I did test the feature a couple of times while playing PUBG, and yes, the phone does not overheat while playing games while charging the phone, and the temperature only rises by a degree or two. While we're at the topic of battery and charging, the Infinix GT10 Pro comes with a 5000 mAh battery. So with typical moderate kind of usage, I could get through the day with around 20 to 25% juice remaining before I went to bed. But on heavy usage with some gaming into the mix, the phone would last about 5 to 6 hours, which I think is not bad at all. And it charges right back up too. The included 45-watt adapter takes the phone from 0 to 70% in just 30 minutes and takes about an hour to completely fill up the device. Okay, lastly, let me talk about its cameras. The Infinix GT10 Pro has a 108 megapixel camera along with a 2 megapixel macro and depth sensor. Now, when it comes to gaming devices, cameras are generally the weakest link, and I had expected the same from this phone too. But after testing its cameras, I will say that I am quite pleased with the results. I mean, I was not expecting the cameras to do well at all, but that wasn't the case. 80% of the time, I got acceptable results. I will tell you that the pictures are not the most sharp and the dynamic range can be off sometimes, but other than that, the colors are good when you're in good lighting conditions. Portraits also come out nice enough, although there is still room for improvement while maintaining dynamic range. Also, skin tone is a little reddish and there's a little bit of smoothing too, but you can see for yourself they are not bad at all. During nighttime, you will definitely see some struggle to maintain exposure and sharpness. The front 32 megapixel camera takes decent looking selfies with good skin tone, but you might find some to be too soft or lacking in detail. For videos, you have 4K 30 FPS option from the rear camera, while from the front, you can shoot up to 2K 30 FPS. But at these resolutions, the stabilization is not very proper and there's this red tint in the videos too. So this is not the best option when it comes to videos. However, you do get EIS with 1080p 30 FPS footages, and the output at that resolution is less shaky and more usable. All in all, as I said, the Infinix GT10 Pro's cameras are not bad for the price. I did compare it with the OnePlus Nord CE3 Lite, and while the Nord CE3 Lite was mostly consistent with maintaining sharpness and dynamic range, the GT10 Pro's images were okay too. I think with a couple of updates, the cameras on this phone can definitely improve. So let's wrap up this video now, and my verdict is actually quite simple. If you're looking for a performance-centric device and you don't really care much about cameras or long-term software updates, the Infinix GT10 Pro is definitely the best choice for you. I mean, I found its gaming performance to be excellent, the clean stock Android experience is the cherry on top, the design and battery backup are good, and the display is okay too. But at the same time, I do think Infinix needs a little bit of refinement in the cameras, and they also need to focus on software updates to remain competitive in this very price segment. However, if you're looking for better cameras and a better display without compromising on other specs, you can also look into the Poco X5 Pro, which is currently available for 20,000 rupees. And if reliable software experience is what you value the most, the OnePlus Nord CE3 Lite or the Moto G82 is a no-brainer. So everybody, that was all for my full review of the all-new Infinix GT 10 Pro. Just a little information, this review sample was provided to us by Infinix Global, but no editorial input from their side has been incorporated in this review whatsoever. Saying this, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to subscribe. Till then, I'm Pratima and thank you so much for watching.